And this is why we could say that in a meditative state, you sort of die. But what they're saying is that you are not the ego, and you're not the ego at any moment of time. Then and only then you can experience light, love, and truth. Light, love, and truth within you, as you are a source yourself. The core of it is to understand that meditation is not only to calm your nervous system, it's not only to calm your mind, and it's not only to make you feel better or change your emotions. The meditation is there to connect you with your spirit. It's there to connect you with not only your spirit, but the spirit of anybody else who you could think of. The spirit is there to connect you with the whole, with everything, with all that is, to connect you with the energetic world. Now we are continuing on a good part, the ascension. Hello, beautiful people, and thank you for being here on my channel. If you're new to it, welcome. I am Val, and I am singing, I'm doing sound healing and therapy, but also I am sharing with you the knowledge that I have guided from my channeled information and also from my personal training here on Earth, based on quantum physics, based on hermetic principles, and Bashar's work too. So I am today going to talk in a different way about the channeled messages that I have from Pleiadians and Council of Five and all the entities that I came to be connecting with. So I'm going to now read to you a channeling that I did like about a month ago, because this is one of the last ones that I have done in written form, and it's about expansion, it's about meditation, and it's about higher vibrations and higher frequencies. So higher frequencies is something that everybody talks about these days, and being in the higher vibrations or being in the 5D, it's something that everybody wants to understand, and somehow feels that being trapped in the 3D matrix is not so good. So what I'm about to share with you is the information that I got, and this is my understanding of it, which I'm going to tell you because some of the sentences probably are a little bit more chaotic or look like that, but they are given to me, and because I would understand them said in that way, I'm going to explain them to you a little bit further. So the channeling does not start with that, but I'm gonna tell you that it's about meditation. So make a meditation like this one, they say. And I'm going to teach you about this type of meditation. I'm going to tell you what you can do by yourself. And probably if you want to, I could do a next video, which is the full version of a guided meditation based on that particular channeling. So make a meditation like this one. And don't use your psychological methods to make tricks on your brain that you have done. So there are kind of like psychological methods that you could use for your brain to be tricked and for you to get into the meditative state. Breathe in, imagine this, or imagine that. But what they're saying here is that you just simply have to surrender fully and let yourself feel everything that you naturally are, everything that you naturally have inside you, and everything that you naturally express as an individual. So when you think about your filtration, the only thing you establish is your own filtration. And I'm going to explain that a little bit further. What do they mean by filtration? Well, the filtration is the ego the ego structure. It's basically the structure, the grid that holds us into the physical reality. It's the grid, which is something like if you have frequencies and you have a big range of frequencies and you have all the frequencies in the world. Imagine that. Imagine all the frequencies in the universe, and then imagine all the frequencies that are all over anywhere in all that is. And then you have a particular range of frequencies that you are yourself. And this grid that holds you outside from everything else as one particular being that you are is your filtration. So they say when you're thinking about this grid, you're simply establishing your own grid. And this is why they say don't try to think about it. So to change, you have to get out of it, and you don't have to think about it, because if you think about it, you give it more energy and you make it more stronger, so you establish it. So, and the only way you get rid of it, your filtration on whatever type. So you want to work with your ego about, well, I'm getting angry too much, or, well, I am feeling sad all the time, or I'm arguing on everything with everybody, or something that you don't like within your ego. The way that you could learn how to transform it is by going outside of this state, outside of this situation, and outside of the thinking about this situation. Because if you continue to think about it and continue to feel like, well, I have done that and I have done this through time, and this is establishing your understanding that you are this person. So get out of it. They say the only way you get rid of it is when you step out of it, when you go further than it, when you expand more than your own filtration, than your own limitation of being. This is the only way you change, because this way it's really disappearing. When you don't think about it, when you don't give it energy, it cannot exist. Now in this moment, your filtration does not exist. Now in this moment, they mean when you are in meditative state, in a deep meditative state, your ego dissolves, literally. And so when you get back, as you say, the filtration becomes different. This is what they say. When you get back, as you say, the filtration becomes different. So when we come back from a meditative state, the ego has dissolved. And then when we come back, it's already a different structure. So it's like it has rearranged, but in a different way. So now you have a different body when you come back. Now you have a different you. Now you have a different experience. And now you have a different identity. We were trying to say you have a different core. So yes, you learn you learn and you capture that. So when you go out, kind of like out, so you go to your true self, if that's what we're going to talk about. I have a video on like a channeled message when they're talking about the true you. But what I am meaning behind the true you, I mean being the full version of you, or being the wider range of frequencies that you really are, and not this limitation that you are experiencing here on earth as your body. And so they say, I'm quoting here, these days, these months, this month and the next month, and all of these days, that's the most important thing that you should do. Convert from the heart and stay at your highest excitement and wait a minute. Convert from your heart and stay at the highest excitement and to the limitation of your extent of vibration, as if there was a field, and then this field, at the end of it, at the border of it, you are there, was the highest vibration that you could ever keep. So you have this field that you are, and you can imagine that. But then you experience only a part of it. You experience only the centered version of it. This is why they often say in different teachings that we are like having a very concentrated experience here on earth. This is why they say that, because from the wider range that we are encapsulated in this very compressed version of ourselves. When we have to expand more and more all the time. And so at the border of your limitation, stay there. Stay at the highest possible of your own limitation. It's never going to be really the highest, because there is always something higher. There is always something lower, and there's always something higher, because we are living in a fractal universe. But still, from your own, if you imagine it like that, from your own sphere, from your own field of energy, which is really looking like a ball, like a sphere, imagine that you have to stay at the corners of it, at the border of it, expand it most. So this is like having a balloon and you are within the balloon. If you are at the borders of this balloon and you push back and you push back, you're going to expand it more, and it's going to be able to breathe. But if you stay closed, the balloon is going to collapse over you, and it's going to make you, and it's going to choke you, literally. So always stay there, be there all the time. Don't get lost into searching for answers to get to the ego. The ego is changing. Now, here is an important part. The ego is changing once you get rid of it. And when you come back at it, you are forming it again in a new way. Literally, you are creating and forming a new ego. This is very important here. I want to really get deep into it, because Joe Dispenza also has talked about that in his book of breaking the habit of. And here we can see that from a little bit probably higher perspective, from a galactic point of view. They're saying you're not only coming to the core of your identity, you're not only changing your neurological connections that you have within your brain, but also you are changing literally your ego, you're changing your grit, you're changing your identity, and you're changing yourself. And this is why we could say that in a meditative state, you sort of die. And this is why, if you think about it, meditation is a path for you to clear out your fear of death. And most people who have been meditating for a certain period of time and are really aware of the energetic world, they're not only aware that life is a beautiful thing that you should just experience, and there is no purpose unless you put purpose on it, but also they're saying that they're not afraid of death. And this is why, because you are kind of like dying when you are connecting with your energy part, because your very concrete self is dissolving. It's literally in particles. So this ego is not working like that. You cannot explain to the ego, because it has only few patterns of understanding things. It has little limitations to understanding things. Don't try to understand. Don't try to make the ego understand. Don't try to make the ego understand. Try to make yourself understand. And this is very, very important. What they're saying is that you yourself, you're not the ego. Sometimes you feel like you're the ego. Sometimes you believe that you are the ego. Sometimes you get caught up in the thoughts of the ego. sometimes you really are identifying yourself absolutely consciously with your ego when you're talking about a certain topic and you're coming out of the ego point of view. But what they're saying is that you are not the ego, and you're not the ego at any moment of time. You could probably feel that you are. You could probably sometimes act like you are. You could act super egocentrically, or you could act like very stupidly. You could think thoughts that you understand are not beneficial for you. You can say things that are hurting people and hurting yourself. But although these things happen, you are still not your ego, and you're never becoming it. So this is a thing that we should understand, because as people we are so caught up in the idea that we are the ego, and we are the body, and we are the identity, and we are the name, and we are the roles that we play, that we could not even imagine that we are something else. Not that we are something else entirely all the time, forever and ever we are something else. Not for a moment, not for a day, not for a week, not for the moment of the meditation, not for the moment where we're feeling happiness on the sunset or whatever. All the time, we are never this thing. We have never been it, and will never be it. So try to make yourself understand that you going out further, expanding more, becoming a new person, feeling more vibrations, expanding and your vibration, converting from the heart, expanding again, creating a reality, keeping the field of positivity, creating the field of a higher vibration, a higher frequency. Then and only then you can experience light, love, and truth. Light, love, and truth within you, as you are a source yourself. You are the source yourself. You are the source, they're saying a couple of times, because you are the source of reality. You are God. Literally, you are creating reality. You are all that is. And you're playing this game for just a moment. There is nothing that we can or will keep you away from in your experience of physical reality. On planet Earth, go there, be there, interact with people, and train yourself. What they're saying here is that although you awaken, although you feel certain vibrations, although you feel like you have moved into a different frequency range and you are now vibrating in a different way, you can still have different experiences on Earth. You can still meet people who are talking only about cars and houses, but still you can train yourself, and still you can interact with them and train yourself into this interaction. You can still absorb more information, you can still gain more experiences, and you can still learn, and you can still fail, and you can still get back to things that you don't like. You can still make mistakes, but it doesn't matter. You have to understand the core of yourself, and you have to get back to it. Even if you do something that you don't like doing, even if you are getting caught up in a situation, or you are not feeling well and letting yourself drown into this feeling of mourning and just blaming others for something, doesn't matter. Just you have to just come back to yourself. You just have to come back to the knowledge that you are not the ego and have never been the ego. And you can do this through meditation. You can really do this through meditation. But the core of it is to understand that meditation is not only to calm your nervous system, it's not only to calm your mind, and it's not only to make you feel better or change your emotions. The meditation is there to connect you with your spirit. It's there to connect you with not only your spirit, but the spirit of anybody else who you could think of. The spirit is there to connect you with the whole, with everything, with all that is. To connect you with the energetic world, as I most oftenly use as a term. So this is a big training for yourself, they say. These days, the other days, all the time, this is a training of yourself to be more aware and to be more present at yourself, as you are expanding and converting from the heart. Any change that you get to train yourself, any chance that you get to train yourself, that any chance that you get to experience that is a new environment, that is a chance. So use it. Only when you have already done it, only when you have already felt the joy and the love within your heart while interacting with anybody, saying what you mean, saying everything that you want, only then, when you do that, you can really understand and then start analyzing. So when you are coming out from your heart, wherever you are, in whatever situation you are, even if you are in a really bad environment where everybody is smoking and drinking and doing stuff, it doesn't matter. But you are conscious of yourself, you're conscious of where you are, why are you there. I sometimes play that game with myself, and I simply go into this state where I say to myself, well, now you are in a movie and you have been just dropped here on earth, and you are this, you know, envoy or something of the um, galactic system, and you just have to experience something here because you have a certain role here to play. You just have to be there, or you just have to implement an idea in somebody's mind. Because don't ever forget that even you saying one word to a person who could probably never understand you, probably you won't ever have a deep conversation with that person, but probably you just saying one little word to this person, it could plant the seed within their mind, and it could change everything for this person and for his world. And whatever you do, even if you are just present in a room with somebody, and you are really present into this room, and you are really feeling what are you giving out as energy, because everything that you do is giving out energy and receiving energy. That's what you do. And if you are conscious about what energy are you giving and how are you concentrating and navigating and letting your own energy flow, that's everything that you have to do. That's everything that you could do to be able to uh, transcend, literally. Because if you do these things, people are going to see you in a different way, but also people are going to think in a different way because of your presence. You are going to implement within them something that is super important for their own reality to understand. And that way, you are really going to probably expand your reality, and you probably are going to shift into a next level. And you're doing this hundreds of times per second. So, whatever you do, it's good. You just have to be conscious, and that's it. Okay, so only when you have been there consciously, only then you can really understand and start analyzing. But you first do it and you first experience it until you experience this joyful fullness of energy that you are yourself. Yeah, absolutely aware with the presence of the other side and the other street, the other side of the street, and the opportunities that it gives. The other side of the street gives you an opportunity to be sad, an opportunity to be guilty, an opportunity to live in fear, an opportunity to live in doubt. Okay, so now we are continuing on a good part, the ascension. Everybody talks about ascension, everybody says something about ascension. So, what they say here, the ascension is a process of vibration moving through different layers of reality. As you change your vibration, you enter into a different layer of reality. There are the so-called dimensions. So they say to the dimensions layers because they really exist on the same plane, but are like peeling off layers that you don't see, or that you do see, that you do experience or that you don't experience. This is why they say layers, because if you think about a layer of, whatever, you could see that it's a whole structure and that it just has layers upon it that are not one of over each other. They are like differing the opacity of the experience that you get. This is how I envision it when they are talking to me. So these are the so-called dimensions. They are like layers, like going over a cloud and then over the next cloud. But each and every level, not level but field, each and every new field that you get is giving you a little different information than the previous one, a little more information. So in one way, we could say that it's not going upwards or downwards, it's more of an expansion. It's more of a, you see more or you see less. That's what it is. So, but you continue to have the information of the previous one as well, but without experience of the previous one. So you have the information, you have the knowledge, you have the wisdom of the previous dimension, the layer, but you don't experience it. So when you get up into the dimensions, you get more understanding but less of the experience of these. Call them lower levels. For example, moving into the fifth layer, you will have the information of the second, third, and the fourth, but you will not have their experience. Although you may try to remember some stuff, you won't. As it is right now, you are now in the fourth level of dimension, the fourth layer, so the next of the 3D. And this is why we are saying, do not try to explain things to your ego from the 3D point of view perspective, because now you couldn't. The only thing you could do is teach it that it can expand and how to be in the fourth layer or the fifth layer or overall expand. This is a movement. As you now know the things that people in the 3D know, you have them as knowingness. So you have these people, you have the experience of the 3D reality, you just simply know it. And this is a really big sign. If you are really into the vibration of consciousness that is expanding, you would probably feel like you simply know everything about the matrix. If you go out and go to a place where, let's say, the mall, or you go to a bar, or you go to somewhere where people are doing normal stuff for the matrix type, you simply feel like you understand everything about that, like you just know it. It's not interesting to you, and this is why probably it's happening. And you have, because you have them as experience. Now I'm continuing, but you don't experience it, but you don't experience them that way anymore. So you are not really looking from their point of view, and you couldn't. Yes, you can have some days where you are now looking from their point of view, and this is why they may not understand you, and that's fine. Yes. Okay. So, yes, you have been there someday, but you are now not looking from their point of view. So, yes, you have been there, and yes, you have shown it. You have seen it from their point of view, but now you're not there. You simply are not, and they probably couldn't understand you because of that, and that's fine. But you have to try from your experience to speak through their experience and to speak through the vibrations that you have within yourself that they would understand. So even if you're not looking from someone's point of view, if you have been there, you all already understand how he is looking upon things. And then you have to mimic this vibration. You literally have to kind of like act a little bit like you are them, but really to be able to help somebody grow into a new point of view, grow into a more expansive consciousness. Probably what you have to do is not just stay away and be like, well, I'm higher than you, but go. If you understand how they're feeling, if you understand how they're talking, if you understand why are they doing these things that they're doing, because you have been there, say to them, but from their point of views, say to them that you have experienced these things. Okay, so I'm continuing. And now, but it does not mean that you have to lower your vibration in order to do that. No, you just use the whole spectrum of your own vibration, explaining a part of it, a part of this spectrum. So, this is very important. Look at it from a point of view where you are this spectrum and they are slightly shorter spectrum. If they're living so much into the matrix reality, they're probably having and living within this range of frequencies, but they also have the potential to expand to infinity. And if you are a little bit more expanded, then you don't have to lower your frequency or close off your senses, or stop being this expansive version of yourself that you are. No, on the contrary, you are staying this person, you are staying on this, vibration, but you are using also other parts of your vibration that are there. So you don't have to lower your vibration, you have to just use the whole spectrum of your own vibration. This is very interesting. And this is how it works. So move on and think of them as layers. Think of them as dribbling in the water, and the layers that are forming from that dribbling are these layers. So it's nothing higher or lower, it's just different in a different scale or a different point of the matrix of experience. Because even if you are in a higher vibration, you're still in the matrix, you're just in a different matrix. And this is very unique explanation, because we have to understand that we talk about the matrix as if this is the only matrix that exists, but everything that exists as reality is a matrix. So we have to not forget that, because if there is a field and if there is some kind of a manifestation of whatever kind of a physical reality, then it is a matrix. It is some kind of a grid, and it is some kind of a limitation, and it is the matrix. Even if you're looking at the wide cosmos, at the wide universe, even if you're talking with millions of civilizations, you will still experience the matrix of the galaxy, for example. So we are always going to be in some kind of a matrix. So it's just a different point of view. Expand and convert, release and relive, just be until tomorrow, they say. Well, the thing here is very unique. What they say about meditation, and I'm going to get back now to the beginning of the video, telling you all of this. I told you just to give you this information that was very exciting for me to ask about the ascension process and the dimensions and all over. But also, what they said in the beginning of this channeling was that the way that we have to do meditation is very unique for each one of us. There is no specific way that you should do a meditation, and there is no right way to do that. But also, for each one of us, it's very important to meditate at this point of time, because meditating really connects us to spirit in a conscious way, and it expands our view and expands ourselves, and it makes us more sensitive to things, people, situations. It makes us more intuitive, and it also helps us navigate through the realities that are now shifting and so big, like so fast, that you could get caught up very easily. And to avoid that, and to be able to be conscious and to stay present and to be connected, you have to meditate, but in a way that is unique for yourself, that is true for yourself, just to the point where you feel and you really are expanding to all that is. If you get to this point, if you get to the point where your ego is dissolving and you as an identity is not present anymore, then you are really going to be able to come back. And as they said, the ego is going to rearrange itself and is going to become different. So then you as a person, as an identity, you are going to become different. If you become different, your vibrations will become different. If you become different, your dimension that you live in, if you want to get to this point, will become different eventually. Uh, the layers of reality that you experience will become different, will become deeper. And this is why it's very important for us to meditate, as it is important to sleep, but also to meditate, because sleeping is, of course, a natural way of doing connection to the spirit, but it's a it's not so conscious way. Probably lucid dreaming is nice, and you could train yourself into lucid dreaming, but meditation still remains one of the most straight, fast, and really working ways of doing that. So I'm going to say what they said about the meditation, what you have to go, what you have to say, what you have to do, as when you experience meditation, what do you have to say within your mind? I choose to focus on creation, expansion, love, light, and truth. And simply staying with your closed eyes and wishing for things to be revealed before your eyes. Calming, of course, first you have to calm down yourself. You have to calm down the body, the breath, and everything. That's all right. But you don't need more than 2 to 3 minutes to do that. Then get into the more of the serious part. Get in the way where you simply wish for things to be revealed upon you, and you ask questions to be given to you. This is the way you download information. This is the way you connect to the Akashic records, to the energy world, to your guides, to whatever and however you want to call it. It's all the same. It's working the same way. You could experience it in various ways. You could experience it as extraterrestrials coming down to Earth to talk to you. You could experience it as angels. You could experience it as many different beings, or as yourself talking to yourself, as simply you're seeing lights. You could experience it as if you see written text, just like that in the space. Whatever it is, this is your information. This is you. So, what you can do is lay down or sit, relax, take a few deep breaths, focus, and then just let yourself flow into the nothingness. Let yourself focus truly into whatever it is you want to focus upon. Let's say a light ball, let's say a sky full of stars. Just you have to, first of all, let your mind use its imagination, because the imagination is a part of your connection with spirit. If you cannot imagine things, you could not ever see anything or hear anything in meditation. If you cannot imagine, let's say, a star before your eyes, you could not ever receive the information of a star or something. So let your imagination flow. And you could do that alone. You could do that by yourself, with music, without music, laying down, standing, whatever you want. But really focus your mind. And you can focus your mind yourself, and you are the only person who could do that for yourself. Nobody could focus unless you do. So then you can say, I choose to focus on creation, expansion, love, light, and truth. I choose to focus on all I give to this world. I choose to focus on creation, expansion, and love. I choose to focus on the light of the world and all the good I can give to it. Words that you have to say, feelings that you have to feel. So you can really experiment with yourself. And this is what I am encouraging you to do here. Don't just get into YouTube and get one of the millions of guided meditations that you could see, but stay with yourself. Just let yourself be. This is the most important for me right now in this moment. Because this way you're going to overcome so much more things in such a short period of time if you just let yourself stay with music or without. But with music, I recommend deep frequencies that are good for you, and just let yourself sit there, and then you navigate, because this way you are going to really start observing yourself. You're going to really start observing the way that your mind is thinking, but also don't let your mind get caught up in the way. Don't let your mind, egocentric mind, like the ego, the brain, don't let the brain let you on this path, lead you on this path. Just stay focused upon something that you want to focus upon. For example, a very good meditation could be, I want to see my house when my house is done. Or, but I don't want to see it like as I would like it to be. I would like to see what they're going to give me. Or something else. Just present to me 4 symbols that are very good and powerful for the human being. And just ask, 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 ask for things to come before your eyes. And if you cannot see anything, then start working with your imagination. Just let yourself, well, now I imagine a star, but then really, with your eyes closed, imagine the star, and then explore the star. Not only imagine it, but allow yourself to see the star. Can you see the star? Can you see the shining lights of the star? What you can see, how do you experience it? Can you turn around? Can you get a different point of view? See the star. Then I would like to imagine a different system, a different star system to ours, and I would like to see it, for example, and see, oh, there is a green planet, and there is a purple planet, and there is a blue planet. And it doesn't matter if this, what you're going to see, is something that you believe is true or not. It doesn't matter, really, because anything that you imagine exists somewhere at some point of time space. It doesn't matter. You just let your imagination flow. If you let your imagination flow for simply like 3 to 4 meditations, just like that, I am sure that then, if you get into a meditative state and ask for one thing, for example, tell me what is my best ability to help a certain person at that moment, or tell me what's best for my kids to play this week, or whatever you want to ask. Just you will see that the answer will be before your eyes in whatever way it is. Doesn't matter if it's picture, if it's a word, if it's a hearing, if it's a feeling, but the feeling is always combined with something else. So just let yourself be there. And what they say about vibration is your heart has to expand and full, and to be full to the fullest potential that you can give, that you can get into this point. So your heart has to be expanded and full to the fullest potential that you can now at this point. It's very important to keep the vibration, and it's very important to convert vortexes from your heart. Thank you for listening to my video, and I hope that I shared information that was interesting to you, and not only, but that you're going to probably try some of these things and implement them within your day-to-day life. Thank you for watching, thank you for hearing me out, and thank you for being on the channel. Till next week on Sunday.